Welcome to JHart Modelworks. In this video, we're going to take a look at some aluminum sanding sticks and adhesive sandpaper from DSPIAE and see if maybe these might be replacements for my current sanders. Welcome to my workbench. Let's get started. Hey guys, Justin here with JHart Modelworks, coming to you with another product review. And for today's product review, we are going to be looking at, ignore the sticky, I removed this barcode label off, but these are the DSPIAE aluminum sanders. And they work with DSPIAE's pre-cut self-adhesive sandpapers. So you guys know I love my UMP thinny sticks. They're thin on one end, thick on the other. They're very flexible. They're useful. I love these things. However, getting these in the US is becoming a pain in the butt. There's one company that I know of that carries UMP products in the US, and placing orders with that company has become incredibly unreliable. I have an order that I placed in November for some paint and a set of the 120 thin grit sanders, because this is my last 120 grit and I've been using this since November of last year. This isn't even useful anymore. I don't even really use it. But I've been waiting on sanders and paint from that order for almost a year now. It's not going to get fulfilled. I know that order is a lost cause. But this isn't about that. This is about these. I am looking to replace my thinny sticks. Now, I could just go straight to UMP. You know, Justin, just order it straight from UMP. And I could. But due to shipping these days, shipping anything international is crazy. UMP has to charge $20 to ship, and they're just charging a flat rate shipping fee. So they're charging $20 per kilogram to ship to the US. I'm not going to pay $20 to ship a $5 set of sanding sticks. I'm just not going to do it. And that's not anything on UMP. UMP has no control of the shipping rates at all. They can't control that. These are the rates that are being given to them by the shippers. They don't want to charge us $20 for shipping either. It's not like they're making a ton of profit. And just, this is literally, I've spoken to Paul, this is literally what they're being charged. So shipping anything international is crazy right now. I actually looked at a detail up set for a future build, and they want $35 to ship it. A detail up set is a box less than this size. $35 for that is just insane. So I'm looking to find things that I can purchase locally. These, I know USA Gundam carries them. They're sometimes out of stock. I've got an order for the green ones through Mecha Warehouse. They carry them. There's several other companies. Usually you're going to find these in the Gundam stores. Not so much in your general, like, modeling, like car model type places, but you're going to find them in the Gundam shops, because DSPIAE is really big with Gundam modelers. So there's actually 4 colors. I don't have the green ones yet. Actually, there's 5 colors. But from the aluminum ones, there's black, red, blue, and green, and then they've got a carbon fiber set, which I have ordered as well. Now there's 2 different sets. You get a large medium, or a small medium set, and then there's a large, and the large is 25 millimeters, and you get, I think, 1 or 2. In the small medium set, you get 4. You get 2 10s and 2 5s. So the other set is about that wide. Now the 5 is the same size as the thinny stick thin port. The 10 is pretty much the same size as the thick part. So if these work out, I in theory have my thinny stick. Now, one of the pros to these is that they are permanent. You buy them once, and there's no damaging these. Do you have to buy these over and over and over again? Yeah, they're fairly cheap. It's like $5, $6, $7, I think, for a pack of 4 or 5 of them. With these, you're just buying the sandpaper sets. And I don't think you even have to use their sandpaper sets. You can use your own sandpapers if you want. Just use some double-sided sticky tape. You know, some 3M double-sided tape, which is what I'm doing here for another reason. Put some 3M tape on here, peel this off, stick your sandpaper to it, and you're good to go as well. You also get a set of labels. I pulled the 180 grit off to use on another one somewhere else. I'm not using 180 grit on these. So basically you could put whatever grit you have, put them on the stick, and you're good. I'm going to do these as a 280. Now, in some of the sets, you get 2 sets of these. Well, they're different. Like on the red set, the red and the black set both have, there's 2 sets of numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scavenge numbers from like 180s, and I'm going to do all the 180s in black. I'm going to do all the 240s in blue. I'm going to do all the 400s in red. I'll do all the 600s maybe in green, and the 800s in like carbon fiber. There's a low grit set, which is basically what I use. This is about what I use sanding sticks for. It's very rare that I ever go above an 800 grit in a sander. If I do, I'm using like a polishing sander or a buffer, like the thinny stick buffers. So, but it's extremely rare. You know, I'll usually, you know, sand and buff if it's on the body, and other parts I don't care about that big of a finish because I'm going to paint most of my parts anyhow. So, but if you do use the higher grits, you also get labels for the higher grits. So there's a second set of these that are the higher grit sets. I don't remember what I paid. I think I paid maybe $9 or $10. So each grit comes with 20 sheets of sandpaper. These are going to last you quite a while for each set. So I'm going to take this 280 label, I'm going to stick it on this one. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take our metal sanding stick, just lay it down on top of this sandpaper. We're going to take our hobby knife, and we're just going to cut a slice off to match the sander. Now we'll just peel off the backing and press it down on the sanding stick. And there you have it. You are set to go. Now, I do only have one set of labels for this, which is, I think is kind of dumb. If you're going to give me a medium and a small, I might want to use them both for the same thing. So there should have been 2, but for the reds, I'm going to use 400 on. So I'm just going to scavenge their 280s. Not the 4, just the 280. I wish these were longer. Couple of downsides. The cons to these. One, I wish they were longer. I really do like the length of the UMP thinny stick. It gives me some more control. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. But the real issue is that these won't sit in my little tool stand like the thinny sticks will. Just a personal issue, first world problem. So I just can't stick them in my stand. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to stick them in the sandpaper box. So when I want a 280, I'm just going to open it and grab my 280 stick out. Another con to these is they don't flex. Now on the one hand, that's good because you've got a good, firm, solid surface when you're sanding, which is why they put these papers on these sanding sticks to begin with, is to give you a firm surface to attach, so you're not just sitting there with a wad of paper. So it is a pro that they're this solid. At the same time, it is kind of a con. There's times where, for instance, I may want to sand something, and I want to sand just one area. I don't want to sand behind it. I don't want to sand ahead of it. So I'll mask those areas off, and then I will just push my thumb into a thinny stick and sand kind of just that area instead of having it just flat. I can get a more direct sand. At the same time, that also puts a lot of strain on the adhesive for the paper and usually ends up messing up your thinny stick. It's just something I'm not going to be able to do with these hard sanders. So on top of the adhesive sandpapers, I've also picked up their sponge sanders. This is my UMP sponge sander. I love it. It's pretty much a 240 grit, I think, and this is the only grit it comes in. And very quickly, these lose their grit and become very smooth, and you're pretty much just sanding with a sponge and not really with adhesive. But I love sponge sanders for sanding on curves and stuff where you don't want to reshape the curve. You want to sand around it and get like a mold seam off without flattening it. That's where the sponge sanding set comes in. They come in the exact same grits as the adhesive sandpapers, but they come in sponges. Now you don't get as many sponges as you get sandpapers, and what you do get is varying thicknesses. But I'm going to be using kind of, I think I'm going to go with the middle ones on the next set that I do. So the reason I've got sticky tape on here, just some 3M double-sided sticky tape, is I'm going to stick one of these. We'll go with the medium thickness. On the other set of these, because I got 4, I got 2 mediums and 2 smalls. I'm going to use the other set for sponge sanders. You would do the same thing if you wanted to use your own sandpapers. So there's a sandpaper company you really like. Now I have a sponge sander. It's going to work just like a sponge will. Not as flexible as a sponge, but it will still have that give to it. Now, I have played with the sponge sanders quite a bit. They're very flexible on their own. They're very useful without a back. You don't have to have a back on these. I just thought it would be something I could do with the other set and just have a back on them. Without a back, they're still perfectly usable. I use a lot of the Tamiya sponge sanders. You can't really wet sand with these. When you do, it loses the grit really, really fast. I have wet sanded with these with no issues at all. Because it's an actual sandpaper, I guess, instead of just a sponge, it's just got that sponge back, so it's flexible. It's very, very useful for wet sanding with these. So these are going to last longer than just a normal sponge will. I have paid for all these products out of my pocket. These were not given to me. This is not a sponsored review. DSPIAE didn't send them to me. Warehouse didn't send them to me. So you're going to get my unbiased review. I'm not reading from a script. I'm not reading the bullet points off their website. You can go read DSPIAE's website if you want to read the bullet points, which is usually what most companies like Mecha Warehouse or USA Gundam are doing. They're just going to copy and paste their bullet points as their product description. So, I mean, you could go read that if you want to read that. I'm going to show you how they work, how they adhere. The adhesive is really good. It's really strong. And we're going to put them through some work here in a second. So we're going to test them. But what you're going to get from me is going to be an actual legitimate review of the product. So I'm not really going to be using these, but let me go ahead and cut one of these off here real quick. So for the most part, it operates pretty much as you would expect a sander to operate. Grit seems to be remaining pretty adhesive. Definitely sands. Does a good job sanding. Stays pretty adhesive. The grit doesn't really seem to be wearing down very fast at all. There's not quite as much give as there would be with just a regular sponge sander, but there is a good bit. I mean, if you're pushing, it's going to give. Now, because I'm using 3M tape instead of like an actual adhesive, and it is a sponge, the smalls are probably going to have some issues sticking. We'll see over time. But yeah, I am pretty happy with these. I may still look at some other sanding property tools in the future. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for my review of the DSPIAE aluminum sanders and the adhesive sandpaper. Just a quick review. Pros, they're very solid, they're very sturdy. You're going to buy them once. They're not all that expensive. I think I paid about $10 per set. You get 4 aluminum sanders per set, and then you've got the sandpapers, which I think were another $9 or $10, but you get 25 sheets per grit, and you can get anywhere from, depending on what sizes you're cutting, you can get anywhere from actually 2. Well, 3. You do 2 10s and a 5, up to 5 smalls per sheet. So the paper is going to last you a long time. Additionally, you can also use other papers if there's a better paper or another paper that you prefer. So there is the flexibility of you going and getting your favorite brand of just sandpaper and turning it into a sander. It is very solid, they're very sturdy, and they work really well. Cons are that they are very solid and very sturdy, and they don't bend. If you're looking for something that you can flex, this might not be for you, or you might at least look for another product for flexible sanding. Again, it's a very, very isolated incident where you want to flex the sander to just sand a tiny spot without hitting something in front of or behind it. That's the only time I would really flex one of these anyhow, will be if I just want to flex and sand just a tiny spot. But you can't do that with these. Another con is that availability can be kind of limited. They are available in the US. They're available through Mecha Warehouse. They're available through USA Gundam Store. So they're fairly, you can get them, but I find they're out of stock a lot, and it seems like it's a DSPIAE thing. Like DSPIAE only ships out so often, or they get bought out as soon as they get a restock. DSPIAE products go pretty quickly, which they are really typically very good products. I've not had a DSPIAE product yet that I haven't really liked. So that's going to be it for this review. As far as the Nova goes, really the Nova is finished, with the exception of the windshield wipers, which I'm waiting on some more black chrome for. Should be in today, this Friday, and I'm hoping to get that video out next week. Once again, thanks for hanging out with me and testing out these sanders and looking over them. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will do my very best to answer them. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next one. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Also, feel free to leave comments, feedback, critique, or anything else in the comment section below. I enjoy interacting with all my viewers in the comment section and try to reply to all the comments I receive. If you want to catch future videos, please consider subscribing to my channel and make sure you click the bell notification icon so you can be notified when I upload new videos. As always, thank you for watching, keep modeling, and have a great day.